What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back to a new review. Today we are checking out the latest quadcopter from Holystone called the HS700, and this one is the best drone that you can buy from this particular company. This one has brushless motors and that's great because these ones last longer. We also get GPS, so it can come back if it gets disconnected from the controller. It can also hold its position. We get a 2800 mAh battery, and on one charge you can fly it for between 16 to 19 minutes. But that really depends on how much wind there is, how you fly it and so on. So you can easily get 16 minutes, but you can also get 19 minutes on one charge. Aside from that, we have a 1080p camera and you can record with that camera and take pictures, and the camera can also be used for FPV. Now the range for FPV it's about 100 to 150 meters, at least for me and where I was flying the drone, but it may be different depending where you're flying it, because if you're flying it over a field it's gonna be longer, but if you're flying it between buildings it's gonna be shorter. So it really depends where you're flying it. Now, if the FPV gets disconnected, so you cannot see anything on the screen, the drone is still connected to the controller, and connected to the controller you can still fly around 500 to 600 meters away. Alright, starting with a quick unboxing. So the drone comes in a fairly large box. On the front of the box we see a picture of the drone and some of the features, and the same on the back. Inside the box we are obviously gonna find the drone itself. We're gonna find the legs for it because the legs can be taken off. We're gonna find the mount for the camera and of course the camera. We're gonna find the controller, the 2800 mAh battery, and the charger for the battery. We also get two sets of propellers, and that's great because if you crash this you're obviously going to destroy the propellers and you would need new ones. There is also a user manual in there, and the user manual it's very detailed and it has a lot of information. I do recommend that you check it out because otherwise you're not going to know how to fly this drone, because it is a bit different than other ones that I've tried in the past. So definitely read the user manual. Now with the charger that comes in the box, it's going to take you about 4 hours to fully charge the battery from 0 to 100, and if you ask me that's a long time to wait for a 20-minute flight. I have another charger for an RC car and I used that one a couple of times, and with that one I can charge the battery in about an hour and a half. So I do recommend that you look for another charger, something that's faster, because the one that comes in the box it's fairly slow. And we are moving on to the controller. So the controller is made out of plastic. It takes 4 AA batteries and it kind of reminds me of the controller that we used to have on the DJI Phantom 3. So at the top we have a few buttons. The first button is the auto takeoff and auto landing. We also have a locking button, a return to home button, and a button so you can take pictures or start recording videos. There is a phone holder as well, and the phone holder is strong enough so you can hold the phone like a Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. And all the way at the bottom of the controller we have a small display that will show you how many satellites are connected, how far the drone is away from you, how high it is, and how much battery you have left. So that display at the bottom is very useful. And we are moving on to the drone itself. So the drone itself it's made out of plastic entirely, but it doesn't feel cheap. And if you actually compare this to the Parrot Anafi, well, this feels more expensive even though it's half the price. So one small annoyance that I found for this one is the fact that we don't have a power on-off button. So every time you want to turn this on, you actually have to put in the battery, and whenever you want to turn it off, you have to take out the battery. And that means that you have to carry the battery separately every time you go somewhere. And it's gonna happen that you're gonna forget the battery at home, but that would have been so much easier if we would have had like a power button, and this way the battery could sit inside the drone at all times. So that's definitely annoying. But other than that, the drone doesn't feel cheap, and we also have lights under each motor, and there is also a light at the front of the drone, and that makes it easier mostly if you're flying to figure out which way is the front. The camera can also be removed and replaced, and supposedly you can fit a GoPro in there. Now I haven't tried because I don't have any GoPros at home. I have a SJ Cam and the E4K Plus, and those are just a bit too big and I cannot fit them in there, so I cannot confirm if that's true or not. The video quality from the camera it's average and a bit better than other drones that I've seen, mostly other cheaper drones that I've seen in the past, but of course the footage will look a bit shaky because we don't have a gimbal in there. Now if you'd be able to use a GoPro, I guess the footage would be a bit better because you get the image stabilization from that GoPro as well. So the quality could be improved if you change the camera. Flying the drone it's very simple and the drone is fairly steady, but you're gonna have to go through the calibration process every single time you fly it. So definitely check out the user manual, because without the user manual you're not gonna know how to fly this, and it's not gonna take off if you don't go through the calibration process. Once in the air, it's powerful enough to fly even if it's fairly windy out, and I wasn't actually expecting that. I was quite surprised to see how well it flies when it's windy, and it can also hover in the same spot. Now it really depends how much wind there is, because if there is a lot of wind, the wind will move it left, right. It's gonna stay in the same spot more or less, but it's not as steady as something from DJI. We also have a return to home function, and the drone will fly back if it gets disconnected from your controller or something happens. It will come back to the original spot, but it doesn't land in the exact same spot. It lands like 2 meters away, but still pretty good for a drone this cheap. There is also a follow me function, and the drone will basically follow the controller, which was a bit strange, but I guess it still works and it's better than not having that feature. I've only tried it once because I was afraid the drone would like take off somewhere and crash into something, but it didn't crash into anything. So the follow me function works decent as well. So to conclude this video, for about $300, this is a pretty good drone for a beginner. It's nice that we have GPS and the drone can come back if something happens, if it gets disconnected or something like that. It's nice that we have FPV, but it would have been nice if the camera would have had a gimbal, because that way you could have attached a different camera and then you could have got like steady footage. Like this, the footage is a bit shaky. It would have also been nice if we would have had a power on-off button, and this way you wouldn't have to take out that battery every single time. And it would have been nice if we would have got the second battery in the box as well, because waiting for about 4 hours to charge it, well, that's quite a long time. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, press that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.